Okay, so I'm going to go over like the first 2 lines in each one of these tables, and then you should pause the video and try and finish the tables and answer the questions, and then restart the video where I'll fill in the rest of it and make sure we've got it right. So the directions on this is to fill in the table basically based off the fact, say for instance this first one, it says the velocity is positive. So our velocity is positive, that's the 10, and that our acceleration is also positive. So that means that when we accelerate from 10 to the next speed at time 1, we've gone an additional, we've increased our speed by 2 meters per second squared. Okay, so what that's going to do also is we have to recall that speed equals the absolute value of velocity. Okay, so that's all we're doing in the third column is taking the absolute value of that number. So that number over here would be 12. So if my acceleration is a positive 2, that would take this one to 14, and the absolute value of that is 14. Okay, in this next one, your velocity is positive, it's starting at 10, but your change in your velocity is negative 2. So you're decreasing by 2 meters per second. The absolute value of 8 is 8. But if I'm decreasing by 2 meters per second, that would take me to 6 here. Okay. In part C, the velocity is negative, but so is the acceleration. So as we start at a velocity of negative 10, and we have an acceleration that's negative, it goes to negative 12. And the absolute value of that is positive 12. So if we go change our velocity again by negative 2, it goes to negative 14, which then absolute value for speed is 14. And if my velocity starts at a negative, but my acceleration is a positive 2, okay, my speed here would be 8. My acceleration is a positive 2, which means then I'm going to negative 6. So my speed would be 6. Okay, so pause the video here, fill out the last 2 lines in each table, and try and answer the questions. Alright, so now I'm going to finish filling out the table. So my acceleration is 2, so that would take this to 16. Whose absolute value is 16? That would take this to 18 and 18. This acceleration is negative 2, so that would be 4 and 4, and that would be 2 and 2. This acceleration is negative 2, so that would be negative 16 and positive 16, and that would be negative 18 and positive 18. And this acceleration is positive 2, so that would take that to negative 4, which is 4 speed, and negative 2, whose speed is 2. Okay, so when the velocity and the acceleration are both positive, that's in letter A, okay, letter A. They're both positive. What's happening? Are we speeding up or are we slowing down? Well, my speed goes from 10 to 12 to 14, 16 to 18. So that says to me that this one here is speeding up, okay? Because as I move from 1 second to the next, my speed increases. Part B is referring to table B, and it's saying if the velocity is positive and the acceleration is negative. So the velocity positive, acceleration negative, what's happening? Well, my speed goes from 10 to 8. To 6 to 4. So this actually says that I'm slowing down. Okay? Part C, velocity and acceleration are both negative. That's table C down here. So when they're both negative, what happened to my speed? I went from 10, 12, 14, oh, that says that I'm speeding up. And part D, when the velocity is negative and the acceleration is positive, so velocity negative, acceleration positive, that's D. My speed went from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2, so that said that I was slowing down. So we want to make some general statements here For when the velocity and acceleration have the same sign, so that is in table A, where they were both positive, and table C, where they were both negative. When they have the same sign, what is happening? Well, the object is speeding up. And if the velocity and acceleration have opposite signs, that was table B and table D, then the object was, in both of these, slowing down. All right, now we have seen some IB questions that it just says, okay, well, if the velocity is positive and the acceleration is negative, what's happening? And you kind of have to make that understanding of what's happening. So you are actually referring to the speed. You just have to remember that speed is the absolute value of velocity. So when our signs match, we're speeding up. When our signs are opposite, we're slowing down.